My guy Ethan, what up, bro? Welcome to the podcast, brother. We got a cool episode, but before we do, I got a little gift for you, bro. For me to you,
Sweet.
man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
take that
Thank
with
you,
you,
man.
bro.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So everybody knows I do my research, right? When I get people up here, and I was like, man, I got to get this dude, man. I watched him play a little bit, talked to Zach. I was like, got to get this dude up here, and then I did some research, and I didn't realize, bro, how good of a high school athlete you were, though, too. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, right? And we were just talking about it, off camera, but the multiple sports, all that stuff, you know what I mean? It says, I'll just kind of read a little bit. 4 year starter in football, team captain MVP, first team All State. Your team won sectional title, 5 year member of the wrestling team. We'll talk about that. Team captain. Team won 2 state championships. It's crazy. 3 year starter in baseball, team captain, MVP, right? And so when I look at that stuff, bro, 2 things really stick out that's consistent. Team captain and MVP, right?
Yeah. There's one thing to just to be on the field and be good at sports, but to lead your friends and make the people around you better is the kind of impact you want to leave on every program that you play in. And that's something I take accountability for. I always want to be there for my guys, and if I can be a captain, I'll be a captain.
Absolutely, man. I love it, bro. And that's what I was gonna say, man. I think football is a cool sport. To me, one of the best in the world. But watching you play this year, I went to a couple games, and it's dope. This is the first time I met you too, which is cool. So not knowing you, right? Those 2 words stick out.
Yeah.
Right, captain, MVP, and by MVP I mean like you do well, but you are so purposeful and intentful about your job out there, right? Like, and we'll talk about that a little bit too. Kind of when I watch you play, the type of running back you are, man, as a safety, right? Like seeing that, and when I watch film, I look and see what type of player do I think this dude is? What type of running back is he, right? So let's talk about where you're from, growing up, family. Let's talk about that a little bit.
From Orange County, Slay Hill, New York. Not a huge town. Graduated about 300 kids, so not super big, but compared to some of the kids around here, that's big. A lot of farmland where I'm from.
Okay.
Wrestling's huge where I'm from. Obviously, like he said, I wrestled a lot in high school. My dad actually went to Cortland.
Okay, yep. I was
He
going to get into that too. Yeah,
Cortland.
yeah.
Both my parents are teachers. That's why I'm studying to be a phys ed teacher. My dad got me into sports at a young age. Always wanted to be a multi-sport athlete. And not for him, I wouldn't be where I am today. He taught me everything I know.
That's so dope, man. Yeah, I was going to ask about motivations and who's your biggest motivation, so we'll get into that. So let's talk about wrestling, okay? The mindset of a wrestler and how it kind of translates and helps you for football. You were talking about how you train kids, and I train kids too. And my favorite kids to train, I tell everybody, are my wrestlers.
Yeah.
Because their mindset is just, they're wired a little bit differently, but it's a trained thing. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's there's not a lot of glory in wrestling other than winning. So it's all about the grind. You got to enjoy the process of it. It carries over into every other sport I've done, baseball, football. You got to enjoy the process, because if you don't enjoy what you're doing and love what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, you can't just try to show up on game day and think you're gonna be that guy.
Absolutely.
Wrestling helped me be a better athlete in general, especially a defensive player. I used to play linebacker, like you said, in high school, and it made me a better tackler, everything. But just the mindset of a wrestler, you just got to be able to grind and work through the tough spots and just be mentally and physically tough. But,
yeah, I think that it's a perfect segue, bro, into kind of the next topic I want to talk about. Was when I look at you play, right? I think tough.
Yeah,
that's the word that comes to mind, man. And I'm sure you could kind of get more background on this, but for most of us football players, like we're not just tough on the field, right? Mm-hmm. Something in life kind of made us that way. So when you think about your life, right, when you look back at it, right, from whether it's like your dad, right, or coaches, who are some people, what are some things that really have collectively made you that tough football player that we see on Saturdays?
I think it's just from grinding since the early days of my childhood. I wrestled since I was 3 years old, played football since, I don't know, 5.
Yeah.
It's always just been my demeanor, my personality. I just want to be a tough player. I don't want to be that flashy guy that, I'm not saying doesn't make big plays, but I just want to be able to run hard, do my job, and play as hard as I can every play.
Yeah,
Every
man.
play.
It shows, bro. It shows. Like I said, I had Zach up here for the second time. But he was my first episode of the third season, man, and he talked about you. You know, he spoke highly of you and the other running backs, man. And he and I we spoke of the time. I'm at the game. I'm watching, bro. I don't know you. I'm watching this game, right? And he hands you the ball off. You run maybe a gain of 6 or 7, whatever. It was a good run. And like right before the next play, like y'all not even looking, and like y'all dap up.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy. And he was like, yeah, bro, we do it every single
Every play.
right? And to me, like, let's go back to those 2 words, right? Captain, MVP.
Yeah.
Those are moments to me, like, bro, that has nothing to do with you being tough. That's like, yo, like as a captain, as a leader first, right? I want to make sure he's good. He wants to make sure I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. The MVP in me is like, yo, let's get this thing done.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was really dope when I was talking to him when I was watching that game. So let's talk a little bit. We talk about a little bit, but let's talk about Coach Fitz, man. What does he mean to you? What's Coach Fitz like? What was your first interaction with Coach Fitz?
I wasn't recruited to Cortland to play football originally. I was recruited to play baseball. Got in touch with Coach Brown. He helped me get recruited with the football. But Fitz, guy's a mastermind. You know, he great coach. He schemes up every team, and he uses our players to our best ability. You know, Jaden used to be a running back. Now he's out receiver. We're using our skills to our advantage, and making the best offense we can, offense and defense. But playing for Fitz is it's why I'm here. You know,
Yeah, man.
obviously we coming off a national championship win, underdogs, everything, but we made it happen.
Right.
We're not making that happen without Coach Fitz.
Right.
So
For sure.
playing with Coach Fitz is it's everything, man.
Bro, it's life changing, bro. I know the feeling, bro. I transferred into a school with Coach Fitz. We actually went in. I transferred in when he got there, same time. He was at a school that I was at my freshman year, so we kind of transferred in together. But long story short, we ended up winning a ring. You know what I mean? Like none of that. I'm all these things happen, bro. None of that happens without Coach Fitz, in my opinion. Right? We had the best offense in the nation. It was crazy, right? He's a genius, man. But he does care about everybody. He cares about the program, right? He protects the program, and that's what I loved about him the most. Let's talk a little bit about the two-sport athlete stuff, man. As a fellow two-sport athlete, college athlete, what's that like, man?
It helps me stay in the moment. You know, I don't gotta be locked in with football all year round. I'm not saying I don't train for it all year round, but being able to step away, take that break, and have some fun playing baseball, because the mental aspect of the two games, physical aspect, are completely different. So I love being able to be a multi-sport athlete, and that's another reason why I came to Cortland, because we're so dominant in both sports that to be able to play on both teams it's special.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, you can ultimately win a ring in baseball here too.
I hope so.
Good enough, man.
I hope so.
What position do you play?
Third base, outfield.
Okay. Have you been doing that position your whole life? Like what was high school? What were you doing in high school?
Third base.
Third base.
Travel ball, I played a little bit of outfield, and
Okay.
that's kind of how I got into it.
Okay, cool. And why not? Why didn't you wrestle at Cortland? They got a good wrestling program too. Why didn't you end up wrestling here?
Many reasons led into it. I just don't internally have that love for the sport like I do for football and baseball, where I can just have fun with it. It's like we said earlier, it's a grind.
Yeah.
On top of that, the weight classes didn't really work in my favor. I wrestled 220 in high school.
Okay.
I weigh 230 right now.
Yeah.
And the weight classes in college 195 to 285. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
stuck
tough.
in between.
That's
and
tough.
then,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's one reason why, like I was saying earlier, that's one reason why my wrestlers are my favorite.
Yeah.
Because they're just used to that grind, they embraced it. But I can say though, like once they're done, they're usually done.
Yeah.
Because they give it all, right? Like because it's a constant. You know how it is mentally, physically, eating, sleeping, like your hydration. Then you're losing weight. Then you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like this is a time in your life where you don't really have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? So that's got to be nice too. Let's talk about coming off a championship. Okay, what was that feeling like, winning championship? And now, for you now, right? Like, now that Jaden's playing receiver, you're getting a lot more carries, right? Starting and playing. So what was that like? And kind of talk to, especially like the youth and like a lot of my college athletes about, you know what I'm saying, like going from not playing much maybe to like now you're in that role and you're doing your thing, but there's there's a gray area in between
Yeah,
there.
no, I know what you mean. Coach Fitz always talks about knowing your role in the program. I'm coming in, 18 years old, freshman. Obviously, you read my accolades. I thought I was the shit. Not saying all that, but I didn't start, and I was okay with that. I knew my role. I practiced hard every day. Coming off that championship, it was a lot. It was that grind all year. We enjoyed it. We had fun. Um, I wasn't on the field when we won, so I got that fire still in me where I want to win. I
Yeah,
wouldn't say the rest of our team doesn't, but I feel like I got it a little more than the guys that might have already won
hell yeah.
on the field. Um, Now I'm able to start. It's just a privilege, you know. It could have been any time, any place. Could have been next year, last year, but now that I got my chance, I want to be able to give it my all. Every play, every game, try to stay healthy and
Love it.
just win for the team.
I
Win for
love
the
it.
team.
Let's talk Cortica real quick. Okay, what was that experience like? Just being a part of that, and now stepping into your new role. You know what I mean? What's your mindset like now?
Um, Big games are big games. I don't really think fans make the game. Obviously, Cortica is such a big game with the fan base, but on the field, I feel like I'm so locked in the moment that no matter what, I'm not going to hear the fans. There's going to be shit talking on the field. I'm not a
Yeah,
shit talker,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I could care less. Big game's a big game. I got to do what I do.
I love it, man. I love it. And kind of briefly, lastly, we'll kind of stop this and go do
Yeah.
something else after. But give some kind of motivational advice. I think for athletes that when I think of your story, bro, like I said, I think it's tough, right? Kind of like rigid a little bit. But give some advice to these athletes, man, that you come into a spot. Number one, you weren't even recruited to play football, right? But then when you got here, it wasn't like you just started playing a lot. But now you find yourself in a role where like you're the man, bro. Like
Yeah.
we need you. We're dependent on you, right?
Yeah.
What's that like?
I feel like you hear a lot of stories and you hear the good parts. You hear the superhero plays. You see the big plays, but you don't know the story. For me, I my freshman year of high school too. I got pulled up. I never played. Um, Here I didn't play. That's okay. That's the story. That's who makes you who you are, and that's what makes you want to grind more. Because I wouldn't say last year I am as good as I am right now. And if I didn't have that grind to want to be better, I don't think I'd be as dominant as I'm trying to be right now.
Absolutely.
So take every opportunity that you get, give it your all, and don't base how you're doing off the outputs. It's all about the inputs, what you're putting into stuff, and eventually you'll get out what you put in. You'll
I
get out
love
what you
that,
put in.
man. I love that. All right, let's break for a second. I'm just
Yes,
gonna
sir.
make sure everything's good. That was good, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do a little run through for you. You said you're going to homework today?
Yeah. So